Hello, and welcome to this special new release Tech Talk. Earlier today, one of my favorite Arch-based distributions, EndeavourOS, received a major update, and I'd like to explore it with you now. After 4 months and much work, the EndeavourOS team just released the new ISO. In my opinion, this distribution is a fantastic entry point for your exploration and adventures in the world of Arch Linux and learning about Linux in general. I'd like to find out if they managed to improve upon an already great, top-rated distro, so it is with great anticipation that I spin up a KVM and boot it into the new EndeavourOS release. So let's go. And we've got an NVIDIA non-free option, which we'll skip since this is a KVM, kernel virtual machine on Linux. So let's choose the default EndeavourOS UEFI option. Hit enter. And there we go. It's coming up. All right. And there's our default XFCE EndeavourOS interface, the live environment. So before we do anything, let's change that display resolution to 1920 by 1080. And make better use of our real estate here. That looks a lot better. Next, let's update those mirrors. So EndeavourOS prides itself for its newest release that the installation is much faster. So you've got United States auto-detected, HTTPS is configured. So let's take a look at what it wants in the conf file here. Let's make this console a little bigger. Let's cat/etc/reflector-simple.conf. As you can see, the default protocol is HTTPS, and it'll detect the location, which it did. So it uses the latest 10 most recently synchronized mirrors. It'll sort them by the rate. And yeah, so yes, it definitely did detect the country I'm in, which is the United States. Let me quickly check the kernel version. It uses 5.13.12. Okay, so let's go ahead and update those mirrors before we try to do an online install of EndeavourOS. Give it the chance to have the quickest install possible, which they claim is improved this time around. So this is the new mirror list. All these servers look good, all are HTTPS, and all are in the United States. So let's save it to etc pacman.d mirror list. Let it do that. Good. So we can install the community editions, which we won't do today. We also got the Partition Manager here. Yeah, so we're trying to install on this virtual drive, 64 gigabytes. It's unallocated, but you can do some partitioning here if you want to. We'll be using Calamares today for disk partitioning. That's nice to have. Here's the latest release info. And that'll launch Mozilla Firefox. There we go. We're proud to present to you our latest release. It's the August release. We got a bunch of new updates and some utilities and a new and improved, much improved Calamares. We'll be looking at almost all of this today. So, very good. Here's some installation tips. Also launches Firefox. And yeah, these EndeavourOS wiki and website articles are a treasure trove. I love reading these. So I highly recommend just reading and learning. The authors are experts in their fields, and yeah, you can't go wrong. They even have an article about how to fix other Arch-based systems using the ISO, which I cover in other videos, by the way, in this channel. That's fantastic. And here, for reasonable forum participation, they even explain how to reproduce the issue and how to generate the exact steps that are needed to reproduce the issue. So if you need help and want to ask the forum, this article is a must-read on how to get your logs and share them with others so you can get the help you need. Good. Here we have a general info tab. Got the website, wiki, news, forum, how to donate to the team and this project, and about welcome. So let's start the installer. So you've got a choice here. The online method, which you want to choose, the desktop, which is today KDE Plasma, or the offline method, which gives us the XFCE and theming. We can do an install log on terminal or pacman log on terminal. So let's do the latter and do the online installation for Plasma KDE today, which is pretty popular. So we're running 3.2.41.1 Calamares, customized for Endeavour. Oh, this is cool. So it shows debug information for Calamares, including all the modules. My goodness, you can learn a lot about the inner workings of Calamares through this debug information tool. Crash now, it says. Well, let's not. Okay, so American English is detected. Yes. So I'll click Next. Detected my location. I'm in the Los Angeles time zone. So I'll click Next. English US default keyboard 105 key PC is correct, so I'll click Next. All right, it detected the storage device. The target for installation is VDA. I'm going to select Erase Disk here because I want to try the new Calamares options. So let's pretend we're installing on a laptop, so we'll need swap with Hibernate for laptop hibernation. And instead of ext4, let's try the ButterFS or BTRFS file system. So it will do an EFI boot partition, FAT32, BTRFS root partition, and a healthy amount of swap. Looks good. Oh, this is new. So we can have a lot of choices here. So under base devel, we've got a bunch of system defaults, so I won't mess with that. Don't think I can. Under X system, a bunch of drivers, and yeah, we've got GPU drivers we can select. That's amazing, and we can have a lot of options. So looks like Yay is EndeavourOS's current default package manager. Excuse me, can't talk today. For laptops, you got TLP and UPower or micropower. That's good, handy. Got a bunch of useful EndeavourOS apps and utilities. Let's install all of those. Oh, we've got NeoFetch, Glances, Firefox, Inksy, very useful for forum debugging. All right. Also gives us an LTS kernel as an option. I like to use LTS kernel as much as possible for stability. So that's great in addition to the latest kernel. We've got different desktops and theming options here. Today we'll be doing the KDE Plasma desktop. It's a very popular desktop, and I thought I'd use one of the more popular desktops today to showcase the beauty of EndeavourOS. So yeah, i3 theming. Yeah, that's probably plenty of material for other videos. Still to do a good i3 video. All right, so we've got the packages selected rather. So let's set up my user account, give myself a password, and I'll use the same password for the administrator account. Works for me. So this is the summary of what's about to do. All looks good. So let's click install and install now. Helm, make it so. Again, EndeavourOS, the new release for August 2021, they mentioned that if you have your mirrors set up correctly, which we apparently just did, or hopefully just did, that the install is the speed is much improved and more efficient. And I will skip over this, but I can tell you that indeed they are correct as far as I can tell. Installing EndeavourOS has never been quicker. So now it's installing 144 packages. Okay, it's creating the initram fs and doing some housekeeping, installing the bootloader. That was pretty quick. Cleanup tasks. And it's all done. Yes. I'm hoping that Calamares, or whoever can fix this, back and next should either be gone or grayed out. So let's click done. Yeah, it's one of my pet peeves is still there. All right, let's boot Linux LTS, long-term stability or support. Kernel. And there we go. SDDM, which is the default display manager for KDE Plasma. Let's log in. So it configures the first launch of KDE. There we go. KDE Plasma 5 in all its glory. Let's change that display resolution again to 1920 by 1080. Set and quit. There we go. Sweet. So next, let's do the first after install task of updating mirrors. And we get this familiar interface, just like we did when we installed. This still looks good, so I'm going to click OK and let it rate the mirrors. The top 10 freshest, fastest US-based mirrors. And there they are. Yeah, it all looks good. All right, let's save it to Etsy Pac-Man mirror list. Wants the password, of course. And there we go. It's done. So, as a matter of best practice, let's update our system now. So it checks both the Arch and the EndeavourOS repository. Endeavour maintains its own repository for its utilities and helper programs, and also does an AUR update check. So I bet it called yay for the update. All right, but there's nothing to update. So moving on. This is the package cleaner scheduler. So it set up for a weekly cleaning, and it keeps the most recent 3 packages. All right, that works for me. Let's click on Configure EOS Update Notifier. Here we can edit the config. Here's the schedule. Let's click that. So it checks once a day for an update. So you can also do hourly, weekly, monthly. Daily is fine for this. Timer status, it's loaded and it's active. So the next trigger will be tomorrow when it checks for the update again. Good, that works. All right, let's close that. Next, we can change the display manager. So we have SDDM, as I mentioned earlier. That's for KDE is the default. We also get the GNOME Desktop Manager, LightDM, and LXDM. GDM and SDDM are Wayland compatible, by the way. Okay, very useful. Okay, we've got the EndeavourOS default wallpaper. Let me expose that for maximum branding. Very attractive default wallpaper. I like it a lot. There it is. Very attractive OS, even unthemed. So let's grab the other wallpapers that are available. And there they are. So let's click on choose one of the other ones that we just downloaded. So we've got the classic wallpapers. We'll go through all of them. The default is good enough here. We've got also user or community submitted wallpapers. I'm sure many of them are beautiful, if not all. Logs for troubleshooting. Very handy if you want to participate in the forums or on the internet and want to have a discussion. These are the logs you can send, including removing personal data from logs. Very handy. Yes, very good. So we select the initial welcome tab. So right now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the after install tab is number 2, which is the default currently. Fine. I'll keep it there, but you can change it. You can change everything here, it looks like. So the assistant. For daily tasks, you've got update system, update the mirrors. Those two we just did. Pacdiff and meld, that's a whole other topic outside the scope of this video. Logs for troubleshooting, we just looked at those. Yeah, definitely useful for when asking for help. Browse all Arch packages. So I click on that. That launches Firefox, as expected. And yeah, that's the Arch Linux, main Arch Linux package site. Wonderful. Browse all AUR packages are the Arch user repository. And there's our AUR main site. And Paru and Yay are way up there, along with Brave-bin. Okay, very handy. Application categories. This launches the Arch Linux Wiki. And there are a whole bunch of highly recommended Arch Linux Wiki articles for various applications that you might be using. Strongly recommend that. Tips. Useful tips for package management. You click on that. That launches more of these wonderful articles that the Endeavour team provides the public, the world. Yeah, fantastic. Anything you want to know about AUR and Yay, hardware, network, Bluetooth, NVIDIA users. Yeah, definitely if you've got a hybrid laptop like I do, I'll be going through these and reading and studying carefully on how to leverage my hybrid graphics solution on my gaming laptop. Let me click on this here quickly. Yeah, again, wonderful resource. Everything and anything you needed or wanted to know about hybrid graphics for the NVIDIA chipset. Forum tips. Yes, very important. We looked at this earlier. But yeah, definitely want to read this. If somebody asks you on the forum and you're asking for help, you need to provide this information for best results. Tutorials are personal commands. Let me test that quickly. Let me add a personal command here by dragging and dropping. Let me open the downloads folder as my personal command. So let me drag the downloads folder in that window and let me close it. Close that window and let me relaunch the welcome screen. So that launches in tab 2, but we've got tab 6, which is, if I can count right, is the personal commands tab. And there's our download. So if I click on it, There we go. That's a shortcut to the downloads folder. Very handy. Kind of a fun toy to play with. I'm sure you can make it more useful than I have just now. General info. There's the tab there. Let me just go quickly to system information. See what we got here. So this is EndeavourOS, of course. Plasma version 522.4. Frameworks 585.0. Qt versions 515.2. Kernel version is the LTS, which is 5.10.60. Currently, we're on an X11 non-Wayland session. Cool. Nothing surprising here. Let's launch the console again. Let's make it a little bit bigger. And let's take a look at our BTRFS setup. So we have the root subvolume set up, the home subvolume, the var cache subvolume, the var log subvolume. Yeah, and all those defaults, the no time space cache and auto defrag, makes sense. NeoFetch shows that we have 871 Pacman packages installed. Yeah, and we're using, this is a medium weight distribution and environment, so 660, give or take, megabytes is not bad. Not bad at all. Certainly not very heavy. Not the lightest, it's not like a window manager. It's a desktop environment. Let me log out and check to see if the session is preserved. Okay, it's hanging a little bit on the welcome screen. My best guess is it might be a permissions issue, easily fixed. Let me log back in again and see if it remembers my session. And indeed it does. Welcome and the console are back. Well, that works well. So let's install the new EOS-apps-info utility that's advertised with this new release. I'm going to click yes. I'm using Yay, by the way. All right, that's in there. Let's see if I can find it in the start menu. Yeah, okay. It wants to update the database now. Let's do it. And then we can launch it. All right, so this is what EndeavourOS Apps Info, the new utility that they just released. So it will show information about the apps in the EndeavourOS repository, very important. Click an app button and an information window opens. Note, you may need to click the Update Database button below to update your package database, which we just did, so we don't need to do this again. Okay. So we got a whole bunch of these utilities. Again, I think that's a great idea that EndeavourOS, the Endeavour team, sets or promotes the differences, the upgrades, the updates. So EOS shift time is interesting. So that's a local documentation, a file. So it can revert all Pacman packages except for the AUR packages. It can roll back. That's very handy. Yeah. AUR, yeah, it makes sense that they can't handle the Arch user repository packages. Okay, so let's see if we can launch that. EOS shift time. Now I don't see that, so looks like we're gonna have to start a console. Let's make it EOS-shift time and hit enter, and there it is. Very nice. So today is Friday, August 27th. So yeah, we don't have anything to go back to, but if we did, we can using this tool. Very handy. This reminds me, for safety's sake, you know me, I'd like to install at least, since we have a BTRFS root file system, let's install TimeShift. So yay, time shift, and we have a selection 4, 3, 2, 1. So the binary is out of date, so we're going to have to build it. So I'm going to select option 1, which is the time shift plus 204 ranking. Let's not remove the dependencies. Let's not show the diffs. We trust the time shift maintainer. And click yes. And let it build. All right. And now it's done building. So let's launch it. Let me close this. Time shift is there. Great. Let's enter the administrator password. And there we go. Select snapshot type. It detected BTRFS root file system. Located here in /dev/bda2. That's good. Select snapshot levels. I like to keep the defaults. They work well for me. Scheduled are enabled. That's good. We won't include the home subvolume, but we will enable the BTRFS queue groups, which is recommended. So we click Next. Setup is complete. Finish. All right, time shift is active. It'll do automatic snapshots, but let's create our first one, which is done like in less than a second. Cool. I feel safer already. Got one snapshot to roll back to if necessary. All right, so under general info, let's click the website. And here you'll find the wikis and where to download, the news, everything. So this is the main EndeavourOS.com website. It's a very friendly community. I can attest to that. Yeah. Let's go to the forum under community. Make this a little bigger. So you've got announcements and news, general system, lounge, EndeavourOS United, desktop environments, forum and website, and even a special ARM section. Well, that is very nice. In my humble opinion, the EndeavourOS team accomplished their mission. Little issues aside, I can safely say that EndeavourOS is one of my top recommendations for both Linux novices and intermediate users. Maybe even experts. So a big bravo from me. Thanks for watching, and if you found this video useful, please like, comment, and subscribe to support this channel. Until next time, be well.